Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Udemy Festival 2022. And I am Tania Amandasari, your host today. And we would like to have an interesting session today. It's about how to increase your academic writing skills to support your overseas study. And speaker today from Vietnam, she is Miss Tuanha, and now she will share her experience about the academic writing skills. And before that, I would like uh, to greet you all this evening, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the session today, and we hope that you will have such questions to us to Ms. Tuanha to embrace your horizon about academic writing skills as well. And before that, we are waiting for Ms. Tuanha to join with us in this connection. You can also share your experience. Also, you can greet everyone in the chat box, or perhaps anyone can introduce themselves while we are waiting for our speaker today. Okay, while we are waiting for our speaker today, I would like to read the profile from our speaker. So basically, Ms. Tuanha is an alumni from Erasmus Mundus program. She is from Petal program. It's play, education, toys, and languages. And now she is a lecturer in Vietnam in what do you call it? FFT University in Vietnam, and also her research interest includes applying literature, drama, and play as methods of integrating equality and equity in the class, education for peace, and intercultural education. She also has an expertise in childhood education as well, and you can reach her at her email. It's tuan.ling@gmail.com. So I see that someone is greeting in the chat. It's from Kak Trilani Putri. It's hello all. Hello for Kak Triliani. And yeah. Oh, so sorry, there was a technical problem. Okay, guys, I would like to know what you are expecting from this session today while we are waiting for our speaker. You can type it on the chat box so we can read it together, or perhaps you can unmute yourself. Okay, wait. Okay. Oh, Kak Trilani wants to learn about the connecting ideas into paragraph. Yeah, I think it's challenging. Perhaps me also personally, still being stuck in connecting some ideas in my on my writing, especially when I'm writing a motivation letter as well for the scholarship. For example, basically I have some ideas that I want to tell and I want to share in the motivation letter, but how to make it into a comprehensive paragraph and understandable, that's a challenge. That's challenge for me, and that's really demanding for me. But as I can see that I read some references, and also I try to proofread it to some friends and ask some people that already received some scholarships. They will give some feedback perhaps. And from Kak Atifa also ask like, what are the challenging things or the most challenging about? Anyone else wants to share? What do you want to learn from this session? You can type it in the chat box, or perhaps someone wants to unmute themselves to speak. Okay, I think we have Miss Tuanha here. Miss Tuanha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you right now. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can see you. Okay. Welcome, Miss Tuanha.
yes, I'm sorry for my
Yeah.
troubles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so we are going to talk about the academic writing skills today. And okay, I think you can start the presentation now. Time is yours.
Yes. So you for joining the session, writing skills. So talk about. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Really?
I
Because
can hear you.
in front of me. Yes. So I will present for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I will leave the space for questions and answers. Okay. So can you please go to the next slide? So when we talk about academic writing skills, maybe you will have a question like, what is academic writing, right? Can you please help me to share the video to the audience, so we can have like a little bit brief ideas about academic writing.
So this video will answer the question, what is academic writing? And there are two parts to the video. First, I'll give a definition of academic writing. Then I'll look in more detail at the features of academic writing. First, then, a definition. So, academic writing is writing which communicates ideas, information and research to the wider academic community. And it can be divided into two types, student academic writing and expert academic writing. These two forms differ in terms of what they are, the audience and the purpose. Student academic writing is used as a form of assessment at university, or it may also be used at schools in preparation for university study. The audience will be your tutors or professors at university, and the purpose is to demonstrate learning. Expert academic writing, on the other hand, is writing for publication in academic journals or books. The audience is other experts in the same field, and the purpose is the creation of new knowledge. And although these two types of academic writing are different in terms of content, audience and purpose, the standards and requirements are the same for both. And this makes sense. For example, if you're learning to drive a car, if you're a student driver, you still need to obey the speed limit, stop at red lights and so on. In other words, you have the same standards and requirements that expert drivers do. So let's look now in detail at the features of academic writing. There are 7 different features that we'll look at. Academic writing should be structured, evidenced, critical, precise, balanced, objective, and formal.
Excuse me, can you stop the video at this point, so the audience can see that? Okay, so actually, if you want to have academic writing skills, I'm sure that if you go to YouTube and you search like academic writing or academic writing skills, you will have like a lot of things to enjoy for your academic writing. So what I can bring to you today is like my experience in terms of academic writing for some points. So as you can see that I'm not an English native speaker. So maybe like I cannot help you with like language, how to make it like very smooth, how to make the language becomes more yes, a smooth, different structures, or like I don't have like I don't have like comments or feedback for your writing in terms of language. Yes, sometimes I can give that based on based on some features of academic writing, for example, like objective or like formal or like concise. Of course, we can have like the feedback for feedback for each other based on these features. But I'm not like the expert in terms of English language in order to give you like some comments about to share the experience in terms of how to use which word which is more effective than another word. I don't give you that. So what I will share with you today is like is like my experience of academic writing. How can I write? How can I publish some publications with my academic writing skills in some journals that are indexed in Web of Science or Scopus. So this is what I want to share with you today. So can you please move to the next slide, please? So what I will present today is like the first one is like how I find out some information, also like evidence, theories, or inspiration, or like ideas for my academic writing. The second one I want to share with you is like how I organize my writing. The third one I want to share with you is like visualization in academic writing. And the last one is like critical thinking in academic writing. So actually, like, depends on your purposes. Sometimes you write an academic essay for like for school tasks. Sometimes you have like school assignments that you have to write academic essays, and sometimes you have to like write academic essays that you want to publish, or like to publish your ideas to more audience. So your ideas can reach out to a great number of audience. So depending on your purposes. But I think that like the things that I will share today is like the way I often do with my essays, not only for school purposes but also like for publication purposes. And I hope that they can be useful for you. So can you please go to the next slide? So now I will answer the first question. The first question is like how I type my ideas, and also how I have like the theories, and how I have like inspiration for my academic writing. So in order to answer for that question, I will start with academic reading. And I think that like academic reading is the key for academic writing. So if you want to write something, writing is like output, right? So if you want to write something, of course you need to have input, and you need to before improve your academic writing skills. I think that like it is very important to improve your academic reading. So now I will give you more specific ideas like how I can find the information, evidence, and also like ideas and theories or arguments for my academic writing skills. So first, of course, I will emphasize with academic reading. But before academic reading, we need to do something. So what are some steps that I often do? So can you please move to the next slide? So the next slide is like what I often do. So as you can see here, the first thing I often do is like you need to identify the topic and the purpose of the paper. So the topic, it can be like something that is already given. So for instance, like you study at school, and then the teacher or the professor asks you to do something for your final exam. So they give you a topic, and then you need to do it with that. So you already have a topic. But if you don't have if you don't have the topic, so the topic can base on what you interest. So maybe there are many topics in your academic essays, in your research, but you have like a lot of interest with this topic. So this can be the topic that you want to work with, and that you want to explore more. So this is like identify the topic. This can be based on your interest, and also like your strength. Of course, when we really like this topic, but we feel like we do not have like at that moment, I don't say like we will not have the skills forever, but at that moment we feel like we still need to learn more. We still need to do more in order to improve our skills, in order to explore this topic. So at that moment we don't feel like we have enough confidence to go with that. So maybe you can choose another topic. So choosing the topic based on your strength, and also like your interest. And then you need to identify the purpose of the paper, like what you want to do, do with the topic. So for instance, the purpose is like maybe sometimes you can do something like explore, or like not only this explore, but sometimes you also want to describe, or sometimes you want to like discuss about a topic. So you need to be clear about the topic and the purpose of the paper, what you want to do with the topic. And the second is like then you can sometimes you will feel like it a little bit difficult in order to identify the purpose of the paper. So what I often do is like when I think of the topic, so I would think of the keywords of the topic, and then some resources that I can find more information about the topic. So for instance, if because like after I find out some information about the topic, and I can see that oh, this topic is still new in this area, so maybe we still need to do some explore before we going deeper in this topic. So it really depends on the information that you gather during your reading and also during your finding out the information. So what I usually do is like after thinking of the topic, I will identify some keywords and some resources that I can that are related to my topic, to the topic or to the purpose of my paper. For instance, if I want to explore child abuse in Vietnam, for instance, because at that time we were assigned a paper, we were assigned a final exam in a course called Children's Rights. So I think that I want to do something about child abuse in Vietnam because just based on my practice and based on what I observe every day, so I could see that a lot of Vietnamese people they often like beat their children, as like they often apply very harsh punishment for their children, and I think that is like a way of education. So I just want to know like more about child abuse in Vietnam. So the first one is like the keywords. So I think that maybe I can search the keyword for like child abuse Vietnam, or like other keyword, other related keywords can be like child violence, or like um, maltreatment, or like children voices, children rights Vietnam. So I try to identify, find out information, find out more papers, find out more theories with these keywords. And for me, finding out the keywords is very important for your academic writing, because like if you cannot find out the keywords exactly, sometimes it's very hard for you to find out the information and find out more papers in order to read. Because if you can find out the papers that you want to read, sometimes these papers they can provide you with a lot of other keywords in order to think of, and also they can provide you some theories that maybe you cannot find out, that you cannot think of the theories at that moment. But when you have like the keywords to find out the papers, when you read the paper, sometimes you can see that, oh, for this paper they use this theory, and for another paper they use this argument, and you can learn a lot from your reading, from the way other authors they argued their topic, and also they apply the theories for their topic. So I think that the step of finding the keywords and resources are very important. So for the resources, you can base on Web Science, because I think that like the journals and the papers that are indexed in Web Science, especially like social science citation index or science citation index, they are very good journals and they are very good papers. So if you have the account from your school, from university, that you can access to the database Web Science, so it's very good. But if you don't have that Web Science, you can base on other resources such as Scopus, or like I think that both Web Science and Scopus, they also need you to have like the account from your university. So in case that you don't have like the account from the university, you can base on Google Scholar, because sometimes like the papers that are indexed in Web Science and Scopus, they are also indexed in Google Scholar. Or you can use like JSTOR. It is also like free for you in order to get access, and also you can also download the papers there freely. So I think that this can be a good website as well. Of course, like the papers in JSTOR sometimes it's quite like they're quite old, but we can still use that. And Eric is also free for you to get access, and they also provide you with a link in order to get access to the papers. Or just only Google, because sometimes I also use Google to search for some papers. And ResearchGate is like the community for researchers in which they can share their academic papers or academic writings. So if you have an account for ResearchGate, you can create your account yourself. And when you create a ResearchGate account, you can get access you can get access to the information of different researchers, as well as their writings. And sometimes the papers can be open to public, and sometimes the paper can be closed to public audience. So if they are closed to public audience, you can still like send the author of the paper a message in order to ask them to send you the topic. So of course, when to send you the paper. So when you have the paper from the authors, you can read that. So I think that ResearchGate is also a very good way that you can find that a good resource that you can find papers for your academic reading, and of course for further academic writing. And other websites is like Z Library. I don't know if you know Z Library, but for me, Z Library is a very good library, online library, because they provide you with a lot of books and a lot of papers. So you just need to write out the keywords and then the list of books that you can that they can provide you, and of course they are limited in terms of the time that you can download. For instance, if you don't buy their account, you will have like 5-10 times per day in order to download the books. But actually, like I think that is also good enough, because like they provide you with a lot of like with a lot of good books and papers, and I think that is good. And you can also create an account in academia, because like academia, it is also like ResearchGate, but of course like ResearchGate is more popular. But like you can also use academia for to connect with other researchers, so they can share their papers. Then sometimes you can like download the papers for your reading as well. So of course, they are the resources, and they are like the first step that I will do after I have like the topic and the purpose of my academic writing. So I will gather the information first. So after I have like the topics, after I have like the papers, of course at that time like the academic reading happens. So this is not a topic of academic reading, so I don't present a lot about academic reading. But basically, in order to read fast, you also need to read first the abstract, because like the abstract of the paper, they will provide you a lot of information about like the purpose of the paper, what they intend, what they did in this in their research, and also like the method that they used and the results. So based on the methods that they used, the results that they had, you can decide whether or not to read more about the papers, and to know like the arguments that they had in the paper, or to know more about the theories that they had in the paper. So this is for academic reading. So you can do that. And from the information that you get from your academic reading, you can organize the information, and you can organize like different theories, different information that you get from your academic reading. So after you organize, so in order to organize what you have read, the first thing that I often do is like I need to categorize them into dimensions. In order to categorize them into dimensions, of course, you need to compare and contrast between different information, different theories and different results that you get from your academic reading. So, and when you can categorize the ideas like that, you can see the relationship. You need to find out the relationship among different categories. So sometimes the relationship can be like totally different, like they contrast with each other. But sometimes you can see that the ideas are like, yes, the categories or the ideas, actually, they're just like the involvement. Like the letter is the involvement. It is like evolving from the previous one. So this is like the way that you can find out the relationship. And then based on the relationship, you can organize them in a logical order, like which one contrasts with which one is like more complete, more developed than the previous one, but actually they still share with the previous one some points. So you can find out the relationship, and then you can give your opinion. So the opinion that you can think of is like It is a little bit difficult when you start your academic reading and also your academic writing, because at the time you always feel like you don't have enough confidence in order to give opinions, because you feel like you are just a student and I don't know if it applies for you, but at first when I started my academic writing and academic reading when I was a student, like a very young student, at that time I always feel like, oh, how should I give my opinion, because like I was not an experienced researcher. I didn't have like any didn't have like a very rich theories or background. So how could I give my opinions? So actually, when you can see like relationships among different categories, it is also a way that can provide you to have your opinion. So when you see like the development of the theories, when you see like the contrast and similarities between different theories, so which one do you feel like you agree more? Which one you feel like you have like you agree more, you approve more, based on the not only based on the limitations that is pointed out in the research by the authors or by other researchers that have critical thinking about this theory, but also you can have your opinion based on what you experienced in your real life, and based on what you observe, or based on the discussion with your colleagues. Because sometimes when you have when you read about an argument in an academic essay, so you are really interested in this idea, but you don't know like actually you will follow it or not. So you can discuss it with other colleagues, and sometimes other colleagues with their wisdom, they can provide you with a lot of ideas that can be very useful for your opinion. So they are the steps that I often do for ideas, for arguments, and for theories. Um, so this is the first question for about like information. How can I find information? How can I get inspiration? And how can I build my arguments based on a topic or based on for my academic writing? Okay. So can you please move to the next slide? Yes. So for the next slide, I will present with you about visualization. Because like for my academic writing, I feel like visualization helps me a lot in order to have like deeper thinking about the topic, and also visualization helps me a lot in order to transfer my idea in a more effective way to the audience. So can you please go to the next slide? So if you go to some academic writing books, of course, you can see that they have like many different types of visualization that they can offer you. For instance, diagrams, tables, charts, maps, and illustration. So when I have the ideas in my mind, I often try to visualize the ideas. For instance, after I get the data from the survey, for example, I asked Vietnamese parents like why they beat their children. Why they did it very like what is the purpose for the for what is the purpose, like why they use the violence with their children. So I think that like after I get the information from the parents, for instance, some parents said that they want to they have the right to beat their children because like they think that like it is like for the it is like an education approach, like they beat their children because like in order to help their children to become a better person. So 7 parents said about that, but like many parents just said that like they think of like the consequences of their behavior, and they think that maybe like the consequences can be like the consequences can like they think of the consequences of their behavior. For example, some parents, they think that like their behavior can hurt themselves, or sometimes their behaviors can hurt their children. So actually, the question is like why you don't agree with the fact that parents have the right to beat their children. People think of like um, many people think of like it's not an effective way because of the consequences that the activity bring to the child and also to the parents. And some of them they think that like they think about about like if their behavior if that behavior is like right or wrong. So based on the ideas of the parents, I just try to visualize them. So when I visualize them, I can see that like actually a lot of people they think that like the consequences of the behavior is not good, and it's like about it is like the major reason why a lot of parents they disagree with the idea of beating the children. But it's also this is an example like when you have the visualization or when you have like some graphs or some diagrams or some illustration for your data. Sometimes you can like think more about the topic that and it also like can even give you like more more how do I say, more information than you expected before. So this is just like an example, but I remember that in that survey when I asked the parents why they beat their children, and after I get the data and I visualize the data, I just remember that the bigger reason is not like because they think of is an educational approach, but because like they are just angry and they use the children in order they beat the children in order to release their anger and to release their stress. So actually, the main reason is not like because the children they are bad or the children they have some mistakes or they misbehave, but just because like of the parents themselves, like they are stressed and they are angry and they want to release the anger by using the children. So actually, at that time, after I visualized the data, I could see that wow, it is really something like surprised me because like I expected that the main reason will be like because like it's like the tradition of Asian countries, of some East Asian countries that like based a lot on Confucianism, that we think that like punishment for the child can help them, but actually the real reason is not that. The real reason is just because like of the parents' anger. Try to I mean like when you try to visualize the data, your data in different ways, in with diagrams, with like tables, with like maps, with like illustration, it can like help you to think about the data and also about your academic writing, academic arguments in a deeper way, and and sometimes it can also surprise you as a researcher. This is about the part of visualization. And now I will move to the last part of my presentation today. And the last part is about like critical in academic writing. So critical thinking in academic writing. So can you please move to the next slide? Yes, so for about the part of critical thinking, so in order to have like critical thinking in your academic writing, I often go back to the step of like organize the information or organize the ideas. So when you categorize your ideas into different dimensions and when you can point out the relationship among different dimensions, of course, they can help you in order to build your arguments and build your critical thinking. Because when you can see the development of the theories and when you can see like the contrast among different theories, you can see that like sometimes the later theories they just come as like to point out the limitations of the previous theories, and also they come as like a solution or to cover the limitation of the previous one. So this one is also like it can support for your critical thinking, for your academic ideas. And sometimes you can get a balanced approach because like when you have like two different contrasts and you can find like, oh, in this idea they have like some benefits and they also have like some drawbacks that is covered or that can be sold by another idea. So this is also like a way that you can find out, that you can build of your critical thinking. So your critical thinking is like when you can find out relationship among different things, different theories, different results. You can build, you can build, or you can use them as a resources for your critical thinking. And the next thing is like actually in many research, in many papers, and in many theories, often other researchers, they already pointed out like some limitations of their research or some limitations of some theories. So you can base on the limitations that are already shown you in the part of in the part of the research, or in the part of that other researchers already pointed out, to build your arguments and to build your critical thinking. And of course, your critical thinking is also based on your experience, your practice as well. For example, sometimes you see that the theories and the researchers said that, but when you apply in your own context, for example, you come from Indonesia and you apply in your own context with the own culture and many contextual factors, you see that okay, this doesn't work in my context. So actually, with your practice, you can also build your critical thinking as well, because like we have like very different variety of context. So not only a theory can, I don't think that like one thing is always true for different situations. Actually, in each situation, we still need to adapt and we still need to like adjust things. So I think that you can also base on your experience and your practice in order to build your critical thinking in your academic writing. This is the last part that I want to share with you for my academic writing. So now I will give you some times for the Q&A part, like questions and answers. If you have any questions, or if you have any doubts, or if you have any shares that you want to share, yes, now is your time. Thank you for your listening.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tuanha. It was a wonderful presentation about the academic writing skills as well. So yeah, I would like to invite you all to ask to Ms. Tuanha directly by unmute your microphone or just drop your question in the chat box. And I see that some people are already write the question. The first one is from Kak Trilani Putri. So she wants to ask, like, I want to learn about how to connecting ideas into paragraph. And also, there are two questions, Ms. Tuanha. So the first question is, how to connecting the ideas into paragraph, because somehow we are experiencing some what do you call it, like stuck moment on how to write something, like it's blank, totally blank, like we didn't know how to write our ideas from our mind into a comprehensive paragraph. And then the second one is from Ka Acheng. She wants to know about how to share her ideas into the short paragraph, like how to simplify her ideas into an understandable paragraph. Yeah, it's the questions. Okay. Okay, Ms. Tuanha.
Yes, just wait for this.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. For my, I just hear like a lot of some noise. I don't know if it's just for my space. So the first question is like how to connect the ideas in a paragraph, right? Isn't it? Okay. So for the
Yeah.
yes. Okay. So for the first question is about like how to connect the ideas in a paragraph. It's like to write down a paragraph in your academic writing. So as you can see that academic writing, your paragraph always continue with like would always start with a topic sentence, right? So in order to write an effective academic essay, academic paragraph, first you need to identify like the topic and also like the controlling idea. So the controlling idea is like, what is your opinion? What is your idea about that topic? Excuse me. Now I can go with my laptop here. So can I please can I share my share my screen? Just a second. I want to share with you my screen about how to write a paragraph. Just wait a second, please.
Yes.
Can you see the screen right now?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, because I'm also a teacher teaching academic writing at school so I can share with you my the information. So actually, in order to write an essay, of course, first you need to start with a paragraph, right? And a paragraph, you can see that it is always the structure of a paragraph is always start with a topic sentence, and then you need to have like supporting details. Like you can have like 1 or 2 or 3 supporting details, and then you need to have like the concluding sentence. And in order to connect the ideas in the paragraph, first you need to identify very clearly the topic and also like the controlling idea of your paragraph. Because like the topic sentence is always always has 2 parts. The first one is like the topic, and the second one is like the controlling idea. And actually, the controlling idea is like your opinion about the topic. And based on your opinion about your topic, you can give some supporting ideas. So let me create another slide. So you can think it clearly. So you have the topic, and you have like the controlling idea. Also, the controlling idea is like your opinion about the topic. Okay, so for example, you can have the topic is like academic writing is a necessary. So the topic can be like academic writing. Academic writing. And the controlling idea can be like very necessary skill for students. So you can see that my topic is like the subject that I want to focus. This is like the subject that I want to focus in my paragraph. And the controlling idea is like my opinion about the topic. And the opinion you give is like not too general, but not too specific. It is for the topic. So the controlling idea that I have here is like it is a very necessary skill for students. And based on the topic sentence, based on the topic sentence, I need to identify the supporting details that can support my topic sentence. So actually, the supporting details can be like the reasons. Okay, it can be like the reasons, or it can be like the evidence, or it can be like the examples that you can give in order to support your topic sentence. Okay, and for that, in order to connect different ideas, as I said to you, you need to brainstorm. Like you need to brainstorm your ideas, and after you brainstorm your ideas, you need to categorize your ideas into different dimensions or different aspects. So for example, you can have the ideas like academic writing is a very necessary skill for students. So you can have like the reason is like it can help you to transfer your ideas to a number of audience or to great number of audience. For instance, so you can have like this one is like the first one, and the second one you can have is like with academic writing you can because like academic writing is a task that students need to do for their assessment. For instance, for the assessment at university. So first you need to brainstorm your ideas. And after you brainstorm your ideas, you need to categorize idea into different dimensions or aspects. Actually, here you don't need to categorize them because they already like belong to different categories. They both of them belong to like the categories of like reasons, right? And if you have like some evidence, like some evidence from other research or some examples, you can bring them here. Like you can brainstorm here more and them here. And after you categorize the ideas into different dimensions or aspects, you can find out the relationship. Among different ideas. So sometimes the ideas they can have like a relationship like cause and effect, right? Sometimes the relationship among different ideas they can be like contrast. Sometimes they can like they can happen in a sequence of events, sequentially. They can happen like sequentially. Sometimes they just have like independent relationship. So actually, for independent relationship, it is quite easy for you in order to connect the ideas in a paragraph, right? Because like at the time when they have like independent relationship, they are equally stand with each other. They independently stand among each other. You can use some connectors like first, second, or third. But when they have like cause or effect relationship, or when they have like contrast relationship, at that time we need to use like some specific connectors. For instance, if they have like cause and effect relationship, you need to use like some conjunction like as, because. You can use some specific phrase like as a result of, or you can use like as a result of, or like when something happen, it leads to, right? So they are all there are some like some phrases, some connectors that can show the relationship among your ideas. So it is very so I mean like it is very important that you need to brainstorm your ideas, and then you need to categorize your ideas, and then you need to find out relationship. If you can find out the relationship among your ideas, at that time you can know how to use like different connectors in order to connect the ideas in your paragraph. So this is my answer for the first question. And can you repeat the second question?
Okay.
Yeah.
The second question. Okay, the second question, how to share the ideas in the short paragraph and into a good paragraph. So basically, she wants to simplify her paragraph into short sentences, something like that.
So the first thing is like how to share, how to simplify idea in to a paragraph, right? The first thing that you remember, that I think that you should remember is that one paragraph only transfer one main idea. So you don't transfer more than one idea in a paragraph. So the first one is like one paragraph, one main idea, okay? And the main idea will be like very one paragraph, one main idea. So when it's like one main idea, it can help the readers and also the audience to focus on this idea, and it also like simplify your ideas. It doesn't make like it doesn't cost the readers like too much information or like confusion in your in one paragraph. So the first one is like one idea. The second one is like in order to simplify your main idea, this question is really depends on the readers. Why you need to refine to simplify your idea. So if you write an academic essay for children, because if you are a teacher and you still need to write an academic essay for children, of course you need to choose like the vocabulary, like basic vocabulary that they know. So it is also like a way that you can simplify your idea. Because if you use too complicated vocabulary for children, at that time they don't understand, or like too abstract vocabulary, they don't understand. And like, but if your readers like professors or teachers at university, so maybe like vocabulary is not like something, it's not like a problem for them, because they can understand that. But like simplify is very important, because sometimes you need to say something complicated things in a simple way. So my question is like, in order to simplify complicated things in a simple way, it is also depending on how you understand the topic. So if you already master the knowledge, you know like the principle. When you know like really the principle and like the basic ideas of the topic, so of course you can transfer it in a simple way. Because when you listen to some professors, actually they always transfer some complicated things in a simple way, because actually at that time they already mastered the topic that they want to transfer. So the first thing that you want to simplify things in your paragraph, the first answer for your question is like, you need to improve your understanding about the topic. And the second one is like, you can avoid using language. For instance, if you say like the paragraph, sorry, present the explanation of reasons for how, for instance, how the washing machine work. So you see here that when you use all the repetitive language, right? You say like actually you just only need to say like explain, and then you have the reasons. The reasons still like meaning explain, and then you have how, it still mean like explain. So actually you should avoid using repetitive language in your paragraph. So in order to avoid using repetitive language, first you need to identify like subject, like what is the subject that you want to say. And the second one is like what is the action, what is like the main action, what is like the main characteristic, what is the main like idea that topic, in order to transfer it. So you can identify very clearly the subject and also the action or the characteristic of this subject. You just only need to choose like one word, and it's enough. Try to avoid using repetitive language and repetitive sentences which mean the same thing. So in order to do things in a simplified way, first you need to improve your understanding. The second thing is like, you need to organize things in a logical way. It means like things should appear once, okay, once, but like when they appear, you deal all things related to that problem, and then you finish before you change, and then you finish, and then you change to another idea. So you don't say like you have, for example, you have like 3 ideas A, B, C, right? So you just like you need to solve A first, and then you finish with A, you go to B, and then you go to C. You don't need to go like A and then C and then come back to A and then come back to C and then come back to B and then come back to A and then to B and then to C. This makes your paragraph really complicated, not simple, and also sometimes even confusion for the readers. So this is a reason why, like, actually I think that like I come back to the step here. You need to brainstorm, right? You need to categorize, and then you need to find a relationship in order to organize them in a good way. So before you write something, you need to pay a lot of time in order to prepare for it. So remember that categorize and find a relationship and then organize is very important in order to make your essay or your paragraph simple but effective. So this is my answer for the second question. I don't know if you have like further questions, or like I hope that my answers can solve the doubts. But if you have like more questions, just let me know.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the answers. I think it's already clear for the simplifying the paragraph, and also the how to connecting our ideas into a paragraph. We need to be just get to the point, so that you have to point out what you want to write, something like that. And we have a question here, like, would you mind to share any good books for beginner to start writing? Since some of us here are still beginner in this academic writing.
Yes. So in order to write, maybe like for your academic writing, maybe you can use like academic writing by Oxford, like Oxford academic writing or Cambridge academic writing. So they will help you to start from like how to write a topic sentence effectively, and then move to the next part is like how to write a paragraph, and then move to different types of essays. For instance, like we have narrative essay, descriptive essay, compare and contrast essay, or like cause effect essay and opinion essay. My recommendation is like you can base on. I'm sorry. You can base on Oxford academic writing, or you can base on Cambridge academic writing. There is another book that I also use, is like it is from Macmillan. So let me find out the name again, and then let me find out the name of the book, and then I can share with you. So basically, you have like these books in order to just a second, please. In order to support your academic writing. So let me share with you my screen again. So you can see here you have like the Macmillan education from Macmillan. So you have a writing fundamentals. So the fundamentals, they will help you like with like how to write a sentence, how to help you with vocabulary and grammar. And then for the next part, they will help you with paragraphs, like how to write an effective paragraph, like with a topic sentence, and then with the supporting details, and then with the concluding sentence. And they also have like examples and assignments for you to analyze an effective paragraph, and like to analyze an effective topic sentence for a paragraph. And then you can move with the last one is like writing for essays. So there are three things. There are three books that I think that you can follow. One of them from Oxford or from Cambridge or from Macmillan. They have like quite similar structure and quite similar in terms of ideas. So I think that some of them, then you can also find them like with the PDF free, online free from the internet for your academic writing. So yes, do you have other questions?
Okay. Yeah, I know that book because when I was in college, I used that book too, and it's a pretty good book. It contains of a lot of exercises in writing, well, to support the writing skills as well. I hope that that is answered the question, and I would like to ask further about your experience in teaching the academic writing skills. Since you are teaching students, what are the most challenging for the students when they are starting to write the academic writing? Which part that is most challenging for them?
Actually, because like for this session, it's just like a sharing session, and it is not like a course. But based on my experience with my students, when they have like clear steps, like because when I teach them, I always ask them to do like the first step. Okay, so first step, brainstorm ideas. So give me like a slide of brainstorm ideas. The second step, categorize your ideas. So give me a slide of categorizing your ideas. So they gave me the categorizing ideas. So I think that like when they have very clear steps, it is not like difficult for them to write. For me, the most difficult things for them is like to get the habit of writing an academic paragraph or an academic essay instead of writing freely. Because like even when you have like the steps, and even when you are guided how to write a paragraph, but you still have like the habit of writing something very freely, like creative writing, or writing something or writing something like similar to what you say. But I need to tell them like you need to leave that habit and form new habits, because like this is the most difficult thing. When they start to write, instead of think before writing, they often like write immediately. And I said that no, you need to think first, because you need to think to organize your ideas before you write. Otherwise, it would be like a mess when you write immediately. But it's like the habit that they have like long time. So it is the most challenging to give up the bad habits of writing, to form like writing for academic essay. And also like another challenge is like they need to build the academic vocabulary in order to write an academic paragraph or academic essay. Yes.
All right. So, do you have any specific method to maintain that habit of writing skills, academic writing skills, especially?
Yes. So a habit to maintain. First, you need to be committed to yourself. The first thing I want to say, like you need to commit to yourself. It means like if you want to be successful in something, you need to like you need to be a person who is kind to yourself. If you are not kind to yourself, it will be like will be like difficult. So if you want to get something, you need to set up the discipline for yourself, and you okay, today I will do that. It means that I will do that. when you are committed enough to yourself, and when you want to get success enough, you can like pay, you can get you can maintain the habit for academic writing.
I see. So it depends on us on how consistent and how persistent it is for us to maintain our good habit in writing, right? And the last questions is, do you have any what do you call it, like tips for us, and when we are starting to make a research or perhaps an academic essays, like what kind of tips that you want to share to us as the one that who are experienced in this kind of field?
Okay, so let me share the screen again. I think that so you want to share you want me to share some tips for your research, right?
Yep.
So as I have said before about tips for find out the tips for finding out the information, and also tips for finding out like the ideas. So my tip is still like academic writing or academic research starts from reading. So if you don't read, it is quite difficult for you to get the ideas or to get the information. As you can see that because can you see my screen?
It's not working. I cannot see anything. It's already started.
Okay. So actually for your research, I think that sometimes it will be difficult for you to have some ideas or some arguments or some theories. So the first thing that I would as like tips is like to think of like the topic and the purpose, and to think of the keywords. So when you have like the keywords and the resources, you can find them. You can find them, and then from the papers that you found, the papers will give you like the arguments, and also will give you like the theories. That from the theories and from the arguments, you can have like some ideas for your research. So for instance, when I think of child abuse in Vietnam, actually at that moment, I don't have like a quite clear quite clear things, quite clear ideas about child abuse in Vietnam. But when I read some papers about child abuse, so in order to read papers, of course, first you need to start from keywords, and then you need to find out, you need to use the resources in order to find out the papers related to your keywords. And then when I found out the information, I just see that, oh my goodness, how can a country have like 70% of children that are beaten, that are violated by their parents? How could it be? So these are like so the ideas for your research and the theories for your research always come from what you read. And then after I see like 70% of Vietnamese people were beaten by their parents, and then I read that like in Vietnam because they follow like communism, so parents just think that like it is a way to educate children. So this is like what I have like the thing that it is what I have like the idea from my for my research, like about about violence against children in Vietnam, and like the education purpose. And these are like ideas that I got from reading. But actually for my practice, when I observe the people around me, sometimes actually I just see them like they beat their children, actually not for education purposes, because like their children, they didn't do something wrong. They just like sometimes I just like they want to play more, and play is not something like wrong. It's like the children, the natural, the nature of children. Children need to play in order to develop themselves. But why they play outside and you beat them because you say that you don't work, you don't study, you don't do things in the house. You need to clean the house, you need to work and you need to study and you cannot play. And at that moment, from what I see and what I observe about myself, I just wonder like if the things that are written in the paper or what are that are written in the books are really correct, or like actually they are not like they are not actually like the reasons for beating children is not like that, but they have like other reasons. So this is a reason at that time I think that maybe I should carry out a research to explore what is like the real purpose of beating children in Vietnam, of violence against children in Vietnam. Is it for education? Is it for education? How can you say that you educate a children when you beat them until die? So it doesn't mean like you educate them. Actually, you already like torture them, or that you already like kill them. It's not like to educate them. So this is just like the reason that you want to cover for your cruelty. So actually, the ideas, the arguments, or the theories for your research always based from what you read, and also based from from my everyday practice, and from my everyday from my everyday practice and observation. So they are my tips. But of course, for research, it is also a longer story. So if you need more tips about writing different parts of the research, I think that this can be the topic of many other sessions. Because like for research, for each part of the research, we still have some tips in order to carry out it in an effective way. But in this session, like in a general session, I think that maybe it can be like some inspiration for you to carry out research. So if you want to find ideas, arguments, or theories, think of like what you interest, find out the keywords, and read more papers about that. And based on your practice and experience, in order to find out the ideas. Yeah.
Okay, I say, okay, thank you for Mr. Anha for the wonderful presentation and also explanation. We got fruitful session today. We have new knowledge about academic writing skills and especially about a little opening for a research, writing a research, a brief explanation. And I think we have reach in the final session of this day, and we are going to have a photo session. And I would like to invite for all the participants to open the camera so we can see all of the faces and we can also take the picture for our documentation today. Okay, please everyone open up your camera. Okay. Okay, has everyone opened the camera? Oh yeah, don't forget to fill, do you call it, the attendance list on in the link that has dropped in the chat box. You can fill in the link after the meeting has ended. And okay, Adele, has everyone opened up the screen, their screen, the camera? Okay. Okay, I think we can start the photo session now. Help me to count the. Okay, is it started? Okay, start. 2, 3, smile. How many times? Just one or two? Kak Adel, you are muted. Oh, okay, just one. Okay. Okay, thank you for Miss Tuanha for your time today. It was nice to see you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
letting
for your
thank you for giving me a chance to be here with you to share my experience. I hope that it can be helpful for you.
thank you.
So
It was nice to see you, Miss Tuanha. Okay. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
bye. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Ending today's session. I hope this presentation today and see you on the next session. I will close this session today. Have a nice weekend and see you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.